Travel with Rick Steves, Saturday afternoons at 1 on KSJE.
KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, here to meet your urgent and emergent medical needs, whether they are COVID-19 related or not. Medical emergencies happen when you least expect them, whether it's a stroke, heart attack, illness, or injury. San Juan Regional Medical Center's caregivers are here to provide care to you and your loved ones. Find out more online at sanjuanregional.com. Ten minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Thursday morning, September 23rd, 2021. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Michlin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE, 103.3 FM in the Durango, Colorado area, 90.9 FM here in San Juan County, New Mexico, and everywhere else on the planet from our website, ksje.com. Welcome also to our viewers who are watching this visual radio program. The video is streaming live this morning out to the KSJE Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our Twitter account. We're glad that you were with us this morning, everybody, because coming up in the next few moments, my guest today from the San Juan County Partnership, and that will be later on this hour, but let's go to the partnership slide. There it is. We're talking about a new program that the San Juan County Partnership is bringing to San Juan County, all about media, called Media Ready. We'll talk more about that, and also the Be True to Yourself campaign. So those are two of the things we'll be talking about with my guest in the next few moments this morning here on KSJE. Then later on this hour at 8:50 a.m., we'll be talking about a documentary screening that's going to be happening this weekend from the Gold King mine spill back from 2015. A filmmaker has been working on that. We'll talk to him coming up later on. Tom Shalaki is my guest at 8:50 a.m. on KSJE this morning. Next hour, of course, it is Roving with the Arts with Mick Hess. This morning, Mick is featuring some great organ music. That is coming up on the program next hour. And, of course, don't forget, in addition to our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter platforms, you can connect with KSJE on our Instagram page as well. And if you're a podcast person, check out KSJE's podcast. You can subscribe for free and check out all of our podcasts wherever you listen to podcasts, places like iTunes and Spotify and iHeart and Pandora and all those places. You can check them out and subscribe for free and keep up to date on some of the local topics that we talk about here on KSJE each and every morning. Our weather forecast, well, outside right now, it is sunshine, 51 degrees in Farmington, outside our studios here at San Juan College. We are expecting a mostly sunny morning today, maybe some increasing clouds this afternoon, and a slight chance of a shower developing today. The high 83 in Farmington, 53 overnight, 83 again for a high tomorrow and on Saturday with sunshine. 80 for a high Sunday and Monday, cooling off a bit to 78 on Tuesday, 74 Wednesday, and looking way far ahead, lower 70s for next Thursday and Friday. And overnight lows, as you can see, mostly right around mid to lower 50s, but getting into the high 40s by middle of next week. Well, let me introduce my guest who is here with me this morning, as I mentioned, from the San Juan County Partnership. Julie Smith is here. Good morning. Thank you for being here on KSJE. Good to see you.
Good morning, Scott.
Thanks for coming in. You are the project director for this Media Ready program that we've been talking about, and also the other campaign, Be True to Yourself campaign, correct?
Correct. Scott, we have a grant from SAMHSA, which is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, and that grant allows us to do prevention work in the community. That work includes the Media Ready campaign, as you mentioned, and the Be True to Yourself, or the Media Ready program and Be True to Yourself campaign. So the Be True to Yourself campaign is our big push for all of the different media outlets that you just mentioned.
Right.
Facebook,
right. Social media,
traditional media. We've got ads running currently on KOBF, iHeartRadio, in Allen theaters before movies, and we've got billboards up around the county. Those billboards you may have seen, they have the big Be True to Yourself logo,
right.
which looks like this.
Right, okay.
And
And we have a video.
We do have a video
that we can show too of what people are seeing, right, in some of these places.
Absolutely. This video is running in the theaters right now and on iHeartRadio and KOBF's digital sites.
Got you. And the message, well, people will get the message, I think, but let's watch it and we'll talk about it after we see it here. But this is
Perfect.
The Be True to Yourself campaign video produced by the San Juan County Partnership.
A great deal of brain development occurs throughout adolescence and beyond. You could say that the brain is under construction until at least age 21. Research has shown that the use of drugs and alcohol can disrupt the development of the teen brain in unhealthy ways, making it harder for the person to cope with social situations and the normal stresses of life. Being true to yourself means making choices that are good for you and the future you want to create for yourself. A message from the Be True to Yourself campaign brought to you by San Juan County Partnership.
What a great message, and that is what we're talking about this morning with my guest, Julie Smith from the San Juan County Partnership. And so, Julie, there's that video, and you mentioned that the audio is also airing on some radio stations in the community as well. And so this message really is targeted, obviously, at teens, I would think, mostly, right?
Mostly. Our demographic that we're trying to connect with is ages 9 to 20. We know that those are critical times for brain development and for setting up lifelong habits. So we want to make sure that children and young adults understand that we're not saying never drink. We're not saying never, when it's legal, use cannabis products. We're saying that right now your brain is in an extremely fragile state of development, and everything that you put in your body can affect that development, especially alcohol, substance, tobacco. Those uses have a tremendous effect on the developing brain. So we want you to be aware that the things that you're doing now can affect you long term. So we want to get that message out to the community that this is your life. We want you to be the best that you can be. And if you're not treating your brain well, treating your body well, it can have long-term consequences. So we want...
Yeah, good message.
We want that to be the message.
Right. And I know the partnership does work, too, to kind of remind all of us in the community of how many kids maybe are not doing these things. But there is that small percentage that maybe is drinking alcohol before they're legally allowed to drink alcohol, and trying marijuana and cannabis before they're legally allowed to try these types of things. And so the majority, I think, of kids do usually make the right choices.
They do, and that's actually part of our campaign as well. The Be True to Yourself campaign is looking at social norms. So we have this perception in our youth and as we grow older that everybody's doing it. Everybody drinks, everybody smokes or vapes or uses cannabis products, and that's actually not the norm. Social norms is the term that we use in prevention to look at what the divide is between what's actually happening and what the perception is. So we want to adjust people's idea of what the social norm is and educate them that everybody isn't drinking. Everybody isn't using cannabis, and especially youth. I brought some statistics.
Great. And that's the one thing I like about this program, because you get these statistics from the community. It's not like Albuquerque or New Mexico stats.
No,
they're San Juan County stats.
They're San Juan County stats. So we get our information from many of the surveys that are done in the schools. The YRRS, which is done every other year in every school in New Mexico, but we can get that information down to the county level. So we're looking at that data and using it specifically to look at what's going on in our county. And what we're finding is that, yes, there are some students that are using very early, as early as age 13 or younger, which is very disturbing for us as preventionists. However, the norm is not as high as what students think it is. So they ask on the survey, how often have you used in the last 30 days? Or have you used in the last 30 days? And they answer that. How often do you think, how many of your friends do you think are using? What percentage of people in your age group do you think are also using in that? And it's always, the perception of the norm is always much higher than the actual norm. So we're looking at statistics. I'm trying to find the exact statistic here.
That's okay.
And I don't have it right in front of me.
That's all right.
But
that's what you find out.
But that's what we find out. We know that that spread, it can be up to 30 or 40%.
Wow.
The perception is that many more students are using. And when we get that education out there, when we get that information out to students, we shift that idea of what is normal, and they understand that they're not the only ones thinking about not using, and
Right.
that norm begins to affect the actual percentage of students that are using, are drinking, are doing activities that we know will hurt the developing brain.
Sure, and I would think that stat would be, those statistics would be good for mom and dad to maybe have too, to understand that even if their kid isn't doing it, they are part of the larger majority of kids who aren't using and who aren't trying this stuff, and that it's okay to be that type of a kid.
Absolutely.
In fact, most are.
Absolutely. And it's great for parents to know that they are doing the right things if they're talking to their kids about drug and alcohol use, if they're talking to their kids about what is normal, what is not, and the supports that they can find, especially the supports in the home.
Right.
So
that's a great program. And so this is, again, going out to media, social media, traditional media, all those type of places,
print
right?
media, billboards,
Okay. Very good.
those types of things.
And that brings us to the other program that you're involved with, which is
Yes.
called Media Ready. And this is another really fascinating program to me because it's talking about how kids get pummeled, and I use that word legitimately because they
Yes.
are pummeled with messages all the time, whether it's social media or traditional media or whatever, about lots of different things. And so it's my understanding, and you'll tell me more, of how this program works to help kids maybe be a little more critical about the messages that they are getting all the time.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. We're really excited about this program, Scott, because we know that we need to educate students how to critically think about the messages that they're receiving. And as you said, bombarded. They
Yeah.
are being bombarded by messages everywhere they go. You can't log into Facebook without seeing 100 messages advertising different things. There are other places that don't have quite the restrictions that bombard even more. So what Media Ready does is it's geared towards 6th to 8th grade students. We know that's a really important time in social development. And what it does is it's a 10-lesson program that goes through, it starts off with very innocuous ads, having students look at what the messaging in those ads really is. So can I show an example of an ad?
Look, I can show it because your camera's
Okay.
going to be a little different, but I'm happy
Okay.
to show what we're talking about here.
So
Here we go. This
So-
is one thing that we're talking about here.
this is just a very average ad. Nicki Minaj.
Right?
And so we'd have students look at
I
this
hear
and
she's
say,
very popular.
I think so.
Yeah. Right. With the kids.
With the kids.
Yeah, right. So there's an
So
ad.
we have them look at that ad and really think about what message is there? What's trying to be sold?
Yeah.
So the students will, say something, her music. Yes,
Okay.
of course, because that's who she is. That's what she does. But what else is there? What else is being sold in that advertisement? Like, if you wear pink, you're going to be a star. If you wear,
Right.
really critically thinking about all of the images in that advertisement and thinking about what demographic they're trying to hit with those images. Who's the audience? What are they trying to sell? And so when you start off with very innocuous ads like this, get them to critically think about the images that they see, very specific terminology. As we move through the different lessons, then we get into alcohol and tobacco ads and looking at exactly what they're trying to sell in those ads, who their target audience is, and why do we think their target audience is that? Why is that audience the target?
Mm-hmm.
So by the end of the program, the goal is to have them be able to look at ads and critically think, how am I being targeted by this ad? And are the messages that they're sending really true? So back to that social norms, not everybody drinks. You don't have to drink to have fun. You don't have to...
Despite what the ad
Despite
wants
what,
you to believe,
despite
right?
what the ad wants you to believe.
Yeah.
Exactly. You don't have to smoke to be cool. You don't have to vape to be popular. You don't have to do any of these things to be happy and productive in society. So that's the goal at the end. And at the very end, they will be presenting counter ads. So they're going to take an ad that they choose as their group, and do some changes to it to actually send the message that the ad's really sending.
Oh, interesting. Right.
So,
interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they'll be presenting that to the parents. So our very first cohort is going to be in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club of Farmington. We're going to use just 8th graders in the first cohort. It's been a very interesting couple of years for our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. So we wanted to start off with just the 8th grade, feeling they might be a little more settled and mature, having had a little more in classroom time than maybe the 6th graders currently, who were
Right.
4th graders when all of the crazy COVID stuff
Right.
started.
Oh my gosh, that's true.
Right?
Hadn't thought about that, but yeah, you're right.
We did.
Now that we're with this for a year and a half.
Yes. So we're going to start off with those kiddos at the Boys and Girls Club of Farmington in their after-school program. That begins October 12th. And we'll go 5 weeks. We're going to do 2 lessons per week. And at the end, those kiddos will present to their families. We're going to have a big celebration at the end, and they're going to present their counter ads in presentations to their families. So it's going to be exciting. We're so psyched about the opportunity to work with Boys and Girls Club of Farmington, and to possibly in the future get this program into more school districts. So we understand that there are school districts right now are just happy to have the kids back in school, in seats, and
Sure, in person, right.
in person.
Right.
We don't want to take any time away from that as they're trying to catch up and get everybody settled into a routine again. However, eventually we would love to be presenting this to much larger audiences than just the Boys and Girls Club of Farmington in their after-school program. So we're also looking at central consolidated schools, not just Farmington, Aztec. We want to serve the whole county because that's what our grant pays us to do.
Great. Very good. And so lots of expansion possibilities for this
Absolutely.
program, which is already in use in other parts of the country, correct? I mean, the data behind this program is pretty solid about
It is.
the lessons that you're teaching these kids about how to be critically looking at some of these ads and making some important decisions about the media that they digest and what the real message is to them.
Yes, it is. This is an evidence-based program. Our grant requires us for direct service programs to use an evidence-based program. And so this program curriculum was developed by the Innovative Research and Training Inc., and was funded by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services to begin with. So we've purchased the licensing to use this program for the San Juan County
Right.
partnership.
Okay.
And to present it in our community. So it has been thoroughly researched. It's been updated regularly with new ads so that it stays current and isn't very dated for our students, because we know that's not going to work very well for
Right.
the age group that we're trying to reach. That
Sure.
if the ads are dated,
It's not good.
it's not good.
That's true. Very, very true. And I would imagine this could prompt a lot of other conversations about some other related issues too. I'm thinking like body image and things along that line, especially for teen girls and boys. That these images that we see in these advertisements are not the ideal image that everyone should be aspiring towards. In fact, sometimes they're unhealthy.
Yes, absolutely. That is a part of overall wellness that we want to address when we're talking with students, children of this age. That we want wellness to be our focus, and prevention and wellness go hand in hand. So
Right.
Absolutely.
Do you find that kids are sometimes shocked to hear that these advertisers do not maybe have their best interests at heart when they're trying to sell them, the big gulp or the whatever, or the vape flavor or whatever it is that they're looking at?
We'll see. This, like I said, this will be my first cohort of
Okay.
this particular
I'm
program.
jumping ahead.
That's
Sorry.
okay.
Yes.
I anticipate seeing some of that.
Right.
Absolutely. They don't understand that what the media is trying to sell them is not actual reality.
Right. Right. And not that I want to bite the hand that feeds me, but we're a non-commercial station, so I don't mind
Yes.
doing it at all. But I think it's true. And I think some adults could probably use a dose of this program as well, because I think, we see a lot of what we see as adults on social media. And it may be an ad, or it may be a post, or it may be something else that people just take it at face value and don't do any critical thinking about, well, maybe this isn't exactly true, and maybe
Yes.
I should check another source to confirm if maybe this is
Source?
exactly true. Yeah, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, that is very common.
Can we sign up some adults to this program? Julie, please.
The research for this particular program does focus on 6th to 8th graders.
Okay.
So
Next grant, maybe.
maybe we'll find a different grant to look
Okay.
at
All right. Well, at
how
least
we can help our adult population.
maybe, but we're going to help future generations, which is a great
Absolutely.
thing, and that's encouraging.
Actually,
so.
the partnership does have other grants currently that are not geared towards youth. This
Right.
particular grant is geared towards youth.
I understand.
We have several other grants that address polysubstance abuse,
Right.
drunk driving, driving under the influence, driving while intoxicated,
Sure.
different things,
Right.
but closely related, and opioid use. So we do address multiple topics through the partnership, as well as we have our housing assistance program that I don't do anything with, but I know that they do great work in helping those who are experiencing homelessness or who are about to lose their current housing and getting them into either permanent housing or helping them to keep their current housing so that they don't experience homelessness. So
Yeah.
great work coming out of the partnership.
Very true. And I want to just put a plug in for the partnership. And again, that's why we have you on the partnership on every month, because of the multiple programs that are coming out of the San Juan County Partnership and the multiple areas that it does work with for our community. And so your program is just one area, and there's much, much more. And so I
Yes.
definitely want to make sure everybody understands that the scope is larger than just this that we're talking about this morning.
Absolutely. This is just my little piece of the very larger pie that San Juan County Partnership does in the county, including work. I always forget AmeriCorps, but we have an AmeriCorps grant that works on the reservation for building community and building trails and
They do a lot of work
access.
with veterans, I know,
They do
too.
a lot of work with veterans out on the reservation. So all kinds of things that we're doing to promote wellness and healthfulness in our county.
Very true. But your program, this Media Ready program, you are starting, as you mentioned, with the Boys and Girls Club. You would like to also work with more of the school districts and maybe other Boys and Girls Clubs. Is that something you'd like to maybe see if they can fit it into their curriculum too?
Yes, starting with this one, and Michelle at the Boys and Girls Club of Farmington has been exceedingly I lost my word. Helpful, yes.
Right. Supportive.
Supportive, that's a great word.
But I think of Michelle. I think there's so many words that come to mind. Supportive and helpful.
She is.
But
She's
yes.
been great. She's
Good.
very excited about doing this, and we're grateful for her to let us do it as our first pilot of this in the Boys and Girls Club of Farmington. They also work with the Boys and Girls Club of Bloomfield, and then the Aztec Boys and Girls Club is a little bit separated from the Boys and Girls Club of Farmington. We would love to get in there too.
Okay.
And we're looking at community centers like
Sure.
the Sycamore Center. We're going to be reaching out to them, and also our homeschool group in the county. So we're reaching out to many different avenues, faith-based schools in the area, so that we can get this messaging out to as many 6th to 8th graders as possible, so that we can have really well-informed young people that grow up knowing that they can critically think about not just the media that they present, but hopefully it translates into many other avenues of their life.
Right, and that would be great. I think that's important, I think, as we've been talking about, because we get, again, even as adults, we have so many messages coming at us to be able to critically look at those and just say, maybe that's not quite the message that I need, or I don't need to go run out and buy that product at this exact moment.
Right.
It's not going to make me happier, wealthier, whatever the case may be.
Yes.
And so I think that's a really important thing to do. And so your grant is kind of in the middle of a 5-year period almost, right? And you've got
Correct.
time to expand this, it sounds like, to try to get into more places.
We're just ending year 2 of the grant. It ends at the end of September, and we start year 3 at the beginning of October. So we have several more years to get our messaging out and work in the county to get this education. We have other programs that we're looking at maybe doing in the county as well. Just had a very productive meeting yesterday. So more to come.
Okay. But you would like to see it with more kids, right?
Definitely
Getting
with
the
more
message out
kids.
to more kids.
More kids. We'd love to hit every 6th through 8th grader in the county.
Right. That would be great. And then at the end of this, it's a 5-year grant.
Yes.
At the end of this, I mean, is there a chance that it could be renewed, or you could reapply? Is that how this would work? And to keep it going for more, because you know the 6th graders are going to keep coming. There's a good supply, right?
Yeah. It's funny. They replenish every year.
They do. But I mean, I think the messaging is important to get out to them.
It is. And yes, SAMHSA offers these grants periodically. We will have to see as we get closer if this exact kind of grant will be offered again. But generally, there are many grants that focus on similar things. So regardless of if it's this exact grant or if it's another prevention grant through SAMHSA or through the state, we will continue to do this kind of work regardless of where we're getting the funding, because that's what the partnership does and has done for 15 plus years in the community, is getting this kind of messaging out and doing the prevention and wellness work that we know is so critical.
That's great. Well, it sounds like the partnership is committed to this, as you mentioned, and so that's good to know. And continued good luck to you and your work to get this out to more kids, and good luck with that first cohort. I think it's exciting to get it started, and we'll look forward to maybe hearing back at the end to see how it went.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
You can come back.
Great. Perfect.
There you go.
Love to come back.
Okay. Perfect. Julie, thanks for coming in this morning, and thanks for being here. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Scott.
You're very welcome. That is Julie Smith, Project Director with the San Juan County Partnership. My guest this morning here on KSJE. KSJE is proud to support the Aztec Highland Games and Celtic Music Festival, October 2nd and 3rd at Riverside Park in Aztec. Music from Big Patty, Smelter Mountain Boys, Patrick Crossing and Devil's Dram, and featuring the Highland Games Athletic Competition. Plus, Scottish vendors, food, and clans. Find out more online at aztechhighlandgames.com. KSJE is supported by the Farmington Civic Center, bringing a wide variety of live entertainment to the Four Corners. Country music, classic rock, and ballet, all on stage this fall. Also, on-stage theatrical performances of The Rocky Horror Show and the holiday classic A Christmas Carol. Find out more online at fmtn.org.